Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be looking at our limiting beliefs and how to move beyond them. So we all have limiting beliefs, right? They form in us based on past mistakes, maybe things people have said about us or to us, expectations that we feel we haven't lived up to, or labels that have been put upon us. And these can get stuck into our being, and they can start to become how we see ourselves and what we believe we're capable of, or our character, how we show up for others, how we perform. And they kind of form this view of self that's not solid truth, that's not aligned with our true essence, what we really are. And when we get stuck in the limiting beliefs, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because we believe that it's true, and then we become afraid of how it's going to affect us, how it's going to show up next, how it will create our next failure or our next misstep. And the fear of us and our focus and concentration on that limitation ends up making it happen. Because where we place our attention and where we place our mind and where we place our thoughts is what manifests in our lives, kind of becomes our destiny. So when we're looking at these, we start by noticing them in compassion. Give yourself a big compassionate hug when you're noticing it, and recognize for self how hard it is to be carrying around this belief. How hard it is for you to be carrying that burden or that negative self-view and the negative effects that it has on you and your well-being. So we first notice with that deep love for self and that deep compassion, almost like an apology to self. I'm sorry that this is hard. I know that this is difficult to carry around this belief. This is the way that we start noticing them, right? And then we start hearing them when they come in. Those little moments where maybe you're given an opportunity, a new opportunity at work, and then the first thing that plays in your mind is you won't be able to live up to it, or you always fail when you're given the chance to, grow or shine. So that's where that moment of compassion says, wow, I just heard that limiting belief, and I'm so sorry that that's how I think about self, that's the burden I have to carry. So feel it first, start noticing them with compassion. Ooh, that's hard. That's hard to believe that. And then we ask ourselves, is this really true? And as we're asking ourselves that question, is this really true? We are also creating space within us. Space within the mind, space within the body, to start expanding beyond limiting perspective, limiting belief. So what limiting beliefs do is they narrow us in. They contract us in on ourselves, and they hone our focus in right onto that thing that we believe we can't do. And as you're starting to ask the question, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And each time you ask, you're breathing into it. And that's like pushing the walls of this limiting belief outward, getting them further and further away so that we're not so contracted in on this one way of seeing self. So is this true? And then my view of self expands a little bit more. Like, oh, It's possible that this is not true. It's possible that I won't fail right now. It can also be around health and healing. Like if you're sick or you're ill or you have an ongoing chronic condition or pain, it could be a limiting belief that says, I'm sick. I'm just a person that always gets sick, that's always going to feel pain. Same thing there. If your body keeps believing that, then yeah, that's what's going to keep getting fed. But when you hear that belief, is this true? And just starting to ask the question starts to loosen the hold that that limiting belief has on you. It starts creating that space, wider, wider, wider. Oh, I could be more than that. Maybe this is not true. Maybe this could shift. And as we're asking the question, is this true? You may also be noticing, what effect does this have on my life? Is it even serving in any way? And most of the time, no, right? It's serving us negatively. It's bringing in limitation. It's keeping us down. It's holding us in a locked position. And so we're noticing all of this at the same time in compassion, listening to that limiting belief, shining love onto it. I'm sorry this is hard. And then asking ourselves, is this really true? And as we're asking, is this really true? And we're expanding beyond limiting belief, we start shifting our focus into, who am I really? What do I really know about who I am? And this is where we start coming back into heart focus. What does the heart know is true about me? This could be heart or spirit. This could be that which is greater, the universe, God. How do they see you? And this could even be higher self of you. What does that higher self of you know about you? And if you really listen and you really start seeing from their perspective, you'll notice that there's no limiting belief there. That all they see is your true nature and your true essence, which is, yes, the body wants to heal. You can be whole. You can be healthy. You are love. You are compassion. You are peace. And you can shine as the person that you really are. And as we're starting to shift, we're changing limiting belief, it doesn't do us very much good to hone in on the negative belief and start fighting with it. I gotta change this negative belief. I gotta prove that it's not wrong. I have to prove myself. All that is doing is it's keeping us focused on that limiting belief. It keeps that at the center. Instead, what we really want to do is expand beyond it. So we notice it, ask if it's true, remember that it doesn't necessarily have to be true, and then we switch our focus to the heart. And that's where we want to keep our energy, our effort, our intention is on feeding the perspective of the heart. We don't need to think about fighting the negative belief or making it go away. All we need to do is stay focused on truth. Who am I really? How does the heart see me really? And the more that you feed that, and the more that you start moving in that direction and growing that heart's garden, the easier it's going to become to let go of the limiting belief. And as you're feeding that heart's perspective of self, you're very naturally going to start expanding beyond that limiting belief and becoming this heart-centered, true form of self. You'll start living that truth. remembering who you really are. Because this is your true nature, that you are love, you are able to heal, you are going to shine, you do have a purpose, you have meaning here. This is truth. And so the more you just let yourself fall into that heart's truth, the less the limiting beliefs have to come in at all. Because those are not truth. Those are, added on, they've gotten stuck, they've been told to you, but they're not truth. So to let go of them, all we need to do is start remembering. Remember who you really are. Remember truth. And then that's how we start living beyond limiting beliefs, listening to who the heart knows that we are. So I invite you this week, look with compassion into limiting beliefs, and then see if you can remember the truth of who you are. If you enjoy these little talks and would like to join us for a group session or individual coaching, please visit us at newleafmindfulness.com. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share. I hope to see you all very soon.